You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day, and happy birthday to some famous Aries. Lily James is celebrating a birthday today. I am obsessed with Lily James. I think she's gorgeous. Very surprised she's an Aries, though. It makes me want to know what she's like in real life, you know. Haley Altwell, Betty Davis is celebrating or would be celebrating a birthday today. Pharrell Williams has a birthday today. Gregory Peck. Some very notable names. Colin Powell has a birthday today. Booker T. Washington, if we want to go back into the history archives. So that gives you an idea. Juicy J gives you an idea of the Aries energy, the Aries that were born into the world on this day. And if you have a birthday, if you know someone who has a birthday, let me know in the comments so I can give them a little bit of a shout out. So today we are talking about a major planetary movement. Venus is moving into Pisces. However, it could take a few days to really feel the full effects of this really lovely, sweet transit because let's just dive right in. Pull up our chart here. We still have Mars and Saturn in a conjunction, pulling away from that conjunction that was exact last night. So you can see they're still both at 22 degrees in Aquarius. And I would pay special attention to where 22 degrees Aquarius falls in your chart. I would also pay special attention to where that same point falls in Leo, 22 degrees Leo, 22 degrees-ish Taurus, Scorpio. Those placements are going to be affected the most by this conjunction. And as you're watching, whether you're live or joining me later, let me know how this conjunction is feeling for you. I know we talked about this a lot yesterday morning, so we won't dive fully into it again, but the feedback I've gotten already is like, wow, I was wondering why it was so irritable. I was wondering why every little thing was pissing me off. And you might feel that this Tuesday, even into Wednesday as well, especially if you have strong fixed placements in those signs that I just mentioned. But all of us are really feeling it, especially those of us going through our Saturn returns as well. If Saturn is very close to 22 degrees Aquarius in your chart, definitely be feeling maybe some aggression or energy behind those lessons you're learning in your Saturn return. Really, this conjunction between Mars and Saturn feels like just a giant no. Like we have this drive and motivation during Aries season. We want to push forward. We have these ideas. We have the energy, but Saturn is just like, no, we're not dealing with this right now. We're not doing it. These are all the reasons why you can't do it. These are all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. Here are all the limiting beliefs. Here's all the self-doubt coming up to slow you down and maybe force you to reassess the path, okay? Because Mars can sometimes just be headstrong, gung-ho in one direction without letting us fully think it through. So Saturn's influence could be really slowing us down for a good reason, but it doesn't feel comfortable while it's happening. Exactly. I was so frustrated this morning about everything. Becca, I am right there with you. I've just been grumpy. I have been in a bad mood. I will fully admit it. I have not been in a good mood for the past 12 hours straight, maybe even longer. But yes, we are pulling away from this. And I would just say, like, embrace the discomfort, because the sooner you face it, the sooner you're moving through it. And actually, something Court was talking about on her Instagram live yesterday was how creation can be a painful process. And this is a time during Aries season while we're birthing new things into the world. It's the first season of the zodiac. We have this raw energy, like I just said, but let's just, like, the process of birthing something, whether physically or metaphorically, can be very painful. I mean, literally, we were talking, or Court was talking about this yesterday. Like, think about childbirth. Literally, one of the most beautiful experiences a human can possibly go through, but also one of the most painful experiences a human can possibly go through. So that really stuck with me when Court was talking about that. And I wanted to bring that analogy into your awareness as well. It might help you get through some pain points today. Just not happy with how much I've gotten done so far. Oh my gosh, Bailey, I had this same train of thought this morning. Just really being hard on myself. Like, Saturn can really make us hard on ourselves, especially those of us with Virgo placements who really crave productivity and feel like that's a core value of ours. I have felt that I have so much desire to do things right now. I have so much in here that wants to come out and be expressed, but I have to keep reminding myself that, like, I have a limited amount of energy, and that is extremely frustrating. And I think this Mars-Saturn conjunction can make us very aware of the limits on our physical energy levels, especially those of us who probably have more going on in our brain than we actually have, like, juice in the battery. You know what I mean? Really, it is such a beautiful analogy. So just one of the intentions, or really the only intention I set for myself under the new moon last Thursday, was to learn how to pace myself, to come into a pace that feels comfortable for me and isn't burning me out, but also feels fulfilling and like I'm being productive. And I really feel like this, me personally, this is just my personal experience, this Mars-Saturn conjunction is showing me, like, here's where your energy level is. We are forcing you to pace yourself. We are forcing you to slow down, whether that's coming in the form of just being, like, irritated and not motivated, or my physical energy levels, which is how it's kind of been manifesting lately for me. So I just want to start today's live stream fully acknowledging, if that's where you are today, that's par for the course. It's where we're supposed to be. And this Mars-Saturn conjunction will only stay within a degree through Wednesday. So we're definitely feeling it, especially because over the weekend we had that Sun-Saturn, or Sun-Mercury-Chiron moon conjunction over the weekend. So bringing up a lot of wounding, a lot of healing that needed to happen. And now, I mean, sometimes it's like, okay, we're done with that. We healed, like, we're ready to launch into something new. But Saturn is just like, no. Saturn is just a big fat no. So anyway, we're going to be talking about Venus moving into Pisces, which happened this morning. We're an hour, 2 hours into Venus in Pisces, and it's going to be such a beautiful energy. It's going to be a very positive everything we're talking about today, but I wanted to talk about this Mars-Saturn conjunction first because we're going to feel that more strongly. It might feel like Venus in Pisces doesn't fully kick in until later in the week. You know, and Venus in Pisces will definitely feel like rose-colored glasses, you know, like we're seeing the world through this, like, fantastical, beautiful lens, but it could take, it's like it's going to take our eyes a couple of days to adjust to the prescription. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take us a little bit of time to get out of the funk that maybe we're in. And it seems like everybody is in the funk, including me and my partner, who is yet again using the live stream as a way to get back on my good side. Using compliments to make me feel better. How dare you? Okay, let's pull back the chart. And let's talk about Venus moving into Pisces. So you can see, oh, wait, we have to jump ahead. Venus isn't in Pisces on this chart yet. Hold on. Okay. Now, here we are. Now Venus is in Pisces. Now we're looking at the current chart. Still Mars and Saturn, you can see, very close by. Luckily, Venus is freeing herself from their influence, and she'll be kind of like doing her own thing now. Because remember, a week ago Monday, we had Venus conjunct Saturn. So we've been learning a lot of lessons about love. And the past week could have felt like there is a restrictor on our ability to show affection, on our love, on our values even. So Venus moving into Pisces, very welcome as it's pulling away from Saturn. Let's talk about the energy of Venus and Pisces. So in traditional astrology, Venus is the ruler of Pisces. In modern astrology, we have Neptune as the ruler of Pisces, but Neptune is considered the higher octave of Venus. So when we talk about Neptune, very Pisces energy, it's like fantasy, illusion, spirituality, oneness, that higher level of love. Venus is like earthly love or Venetian love. I don't know, but you know what I mean? It's like physical love, right? Sensuality, our values, physical comforts are ruled by Venus. So Venus, the point I'm getting at is Venus is right at home in Pisces, loves to be in Pisces, maybe even, as we'll talk about, a little too comfortable in Pisces. And I'll explain that in just a moment. And yes, thank the heavens. This emoji, this is my favorite emoji. You know what I'm talking about? This is the Venus in Pisces emoji. Hallelujah. That is the mantra of Venus in Pisces. Hallelujah. We made it. And while Venus was in Aquarius, we might have found ourselves attracted or drawn to more eccentric people or more eccentric things. We might have seen a shift in our values over the past 3 weeks or so. Now that Venus is in Pisces, it's like return to love, return to fantasy, return to romance. This is a very romantic vibe. So Venus in Pisces, it'll be here until May 2nd for the next almost month. And let's talk about the energy of Venus, align with it, and then the energy of Pisces. Venus, as we talked about, rules our attraction, the aesthetic. We're really going to like crave more imaginative, like fantastical aesthetic. Like you might find yourself liking Instagram posts that are like about space or even like some sort of fantasy, like I don't know, Disney comes to mind. This whole transit feels like Neverland to me. Like Venus and Pisces is like, we're going to Neverland and we're just going to check out. And we want all the mermaids and all the fairies and all the talking animals and the pirates and all the things. Is that real? I don't know. That's for you to decide, you know, but it really does feel like extremely imaginative and fantastical. And Venus also rules harmony, pleasure, money. So, you know, I feel like also NFTs, while Venus has been in Aquarius, also have been gaining traction, but Venus and Pisces could take that to the next level because we're talking about like an alternate reality, potentially, and Venus ruling money. I could see there being a greater focus on NFTs or cryptocurrency. That was very much Venus in Aquarius too, but I see that continuing. Values, luxury, art, again, more fantastical art, beauty, romance, our relationships are ruled by Venus. So anytime we talk about Venus, relationships are at the center of the conversation. And that's not just romantic relationships, although this is a very romantic transit, but also one-on-one partnerships, friendships, business partnerships, that one-on-one type of relationship is ruled by Venus, the goddess of love. So again, this feels very like we're in La La Land, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm going to be very excited when I fully feel that Venus and Pisces energy, when we are no longer stuck in the midst of the Mars-Saturn conjunction. And then Pisces, as we just experienced during Pisces season, and we do have quite a few planets still in Pisces. Pisces rules our sensitivity, our spirituality, our imagination, our fantasy, illusion, which could come up with Venus and Pisces, our clairvoyant, claircognizant, clairaudient abilities, wisdom. Pisces is said to, you know, like each sign picks up the wisdom of all the signs before it. And because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, it tends to be the most like wise sign. I picture it like, I picture Pisces energy as old person energy, to be honest, because they're sensitive, they're empathetic, they're often very compassionate, they have all of this wisdom, but often our older generations are deceived more easily because they're not quite as plugged into the beat of society as often younger people are. Not always, but that's just kind of how I see the energy. Very emotional, very artistic, very romantic. So you can see there's actually a lot of overlap when we talk about the energies of Venus and Pisces. So over the coming month or so, expect that romantic energy, expect more whimsy, lean into it. In fact, if you're trying to create something or even attract something, leaning into imagination is a beautiful way of doing it, especially as we're coming up to the full moon in Libra next Saturday night, I believe the 16th. Libra energy is all about beauty as well, and very much about Venus energy as well. So we're really going to be like, Venus is our buddy for the next week or so. And when we're trying to use that Venus energy, our imagination with Venus and Pisces is going to be very helpful for us. We can open our heart more easily. We can be more empathetic, more compassionate. Also, like, the reason that this feels like such a romantic transit is because, remember, imagination is often part of romance. Coming up with some, unique or cool date idea, or just thinking outside of the box a little bit. And not necessarily in an Aquarian way, like, how are we going to innovate? How are we going to make our relationship better? But in a, like, I genuinely want to do this because I want to bring out that fantastical energy within you. I want you to be able to, like, go there with me. It's like I just keep bringing up, like, Disney references. I don't really know why, but it's like a magic carpet ride is like the perfect date for Venus and Pisces. You know what I mean? I don't know how you can make that happen, but you see what I mean? It's like going there, right? It's like going into another world. Also, this can be a very healing time for relationships as well. Pisces is a very healing energy, being the last sign of the zodiac. So if there's anything that's come up currently with the Mars-Saturn conjunction, with all that Chiron activation over the weekend, Venus and Pisces can help us really hone into our heart space and have that one-on-one interaction and find healing in that empathy and find forgiveness as well. This could be a really beautiful time for forgiveness, not even in romantic relationships, but with family members as well, with close friends. Now, here's the warning label. Here is the warning label with Venus and Pisces. We can get very lost in a fantasy with Venus and Pisces. If you're dating, I would say this is the time to be in the honeymoon phase. This is the time to dream and imagine about all the possibilities with this partner. But maybe wait until Venus moves into Aries at the beginning of May to really make any commitments or decide if this relationship is going to actually work out in reality, right? Because we want to keep one foot in reality with Venus and Pisces. It can be really easy to just, like, float off on a cloud, fly off on our magic carpet, stay in Neverland and pretend that everything is fine and everything's going to work out because that's how it works out in Disney movies. Everybody lives happily ever after, right? So just make sure that the magic is still there. It's going to feel very magical while Venus is in Pisces, but we want to make sure that magic is still there even after this transit is over. Even when we are taking off those rose-colored glasses, it's so easy to see through with Venus and Pisces. We want to make sure what we're looking at is still bringing us value. We're still desiring it. We're still attracted to it, even after that honeymoon phase is over, even after we leave Neverland. So I brought up illusion as well. It's easier to be deceived or confused with Venus and Pisces. We can convince ourselves that this is the person for us, or that it's meant to be, it's fate. There's this magical energy behind the romance. There very well could be, but if it's a new love or if it's a new situation, I would just not make any decisions about it until Venus moves into Aries. Or even, you know, Venus is going to meet up with, let's pull up the chart here. Look at all the other planets in Pisces. We have Neptune and Jupiter at 22, 23 degrees Pisces, and they will be forming a conjunction in about a week from now, I believe on the 12th or the 14th, right around that time. And they'll stay in a conjunction for a little bit too. In fact, let me see. I believe we'll start to feel that conjunction actually in the next few days. We're not quite within a degree of that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction yet, but we will be by the end of the week. So that can also help us lean into fantasy. It can make us do grand things when it comes to these big dreams or illusions that we have. It's going to add to the whimsy, add to the magic for sure. We just, again, don't want to get too lost in that realm, too lost in that fantasy. When Venus meets up with these two planets, this could be a really like I see people getting engaged. I see people taking their relationships to the next level. When Venus meets up with Neptune and Jupiter, it's really going to amplify that magical energy. So this could be very, very positive, especially towards the end of Venus and Pisces transit. I don't want to discourage you from like allowing yourself to go there and dream and get lost in love. That's a beautiful energy to be in. I've been there. I loved it. Wish I could live there. You know, unfortunately, that's not the real world. But allow yourself to be there. Allow yourself to get lost in that loving energy. Just don't plan on staying there forever. Know that you're going to have to come back down to reality, come back down to earth at some point. And just keep that in the back of your mind. I think that's kind of the best way to go about whatever romantic or creative pursuits you are embarking on under Venus and Pisces. Soulmate syndrome. Oh, you have Venus and Pisces too, don't you? You're going to have your Venus return. I love this for you. But yes, soulmate syndrome. I love that. Did you coin that? We need to coin this, because really it could feel like someone you meet under Venus and Pisces. Again, this doesn't even have to be romantic, like a new friendship you make. It's like, we were meant to find each other. This is so magical. This is like a fantasy coming to life, you know? Again, beautiful energy. We love it. We love being here. Just know that that can't last forever, right? Reality will set in. I will tell you, me and my boo were in that fantasy stage for like 9 months. We were secretly together. We were doing all the fun things. And then we moved in together and it was like, oh, this is what reality is like. And like, we're still together, but the Mars-Saturn conjunction really shows you like what reality looks like, right? So anyway, that's my 2 cents about Venus and Pisces and my big fat warning label on it as a practical Virgo. Literally you. But I will say that can be an admirable quality, because there are a lot of people in this world who never even let themselves go there, right? Like, being open to love is a beautiful quality, and we will all be much more open to love with Venus and Pisces, okay? So this isn't to say to put up a guard around your heart and make sure you're not deceived during this time. This is in fact to say, let yourself go there. Let yourself be open to it. Just don't get lost in it, okay? I am going to just leave that there. Just leave this comment here, because it's not the truth, because Venus is in Pisces and very close to your North Node, and probably like, you know, we like to say nice things, but we know that the honeymoon phase is in fact over. Okay. Oh, court. You know I love to talk about twin flames. I think many people could... Twin flames are such a controversial topic to talk about, and I hate that it's become so controversial, because I really do believe that I have experienced a twin flame relationship with my partner, and that is to say that it hasn't been all sunshine and lollipops, and that's why I believe it's been a twin flame relationship. I think it could be easier to think you've found your twin flame during Venus and Pisces. I would be very careful to use that term or define a relationship as that in the next month, because it could feel like that, right? But also at the beginning of a twin flame relationship, I think most of the time, just from what I have heard and experienced, it doesn't feel like a twin flame relationship. It feels like a soulmate relationship. It feels like the most magical connection, right? Or this like knowing, awakening of like, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be with. It's not until later that you're like, oh, is this a twin flame relationship? Gosh, didn't realize I was signing up for that, right? So I think with Venus and Pisces, Pisces being very spiritual, it is possible that more people will find their twin flames during this time or unite with their twin flames, especially with such an energy of forgiveness surrounding Pisces. This could bring union for twin flames that are in separation. Of course, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's a whole other rabbit hole. You can dive down deep. Venus and Pisces is a perfect time to dive there. But I think, yeah, it could bring union for twin flames for sure, with this spiritual element of love coming in with Venus and Pisces. But if it's already feeling like a twin flame relationship during Venus and Pisces, I would say they're probably not. If it's a new relationship and it's already becoming tumultuous, probably not your twin flame. But who am I to say? We all have different experiences, and labels can be very divisive. For me, the term twin flame was really helpful and really validating for what I was going through. I would never encourage anyone to seek out a twin flame relationship. Like, whoever's telling you that it's this great thing is lying to you. So just FYI. But yeah, I think twin flame unions could be a thing during Venus and Pisces with this spiritual element. Thank you. I try to be honest. One day I'm going to convince this guy who is acting like everything is in the honeymoon phase still to share our experience. You know, our twin flame experience. Love the twin flames here. One day when it's time, we'll share everything we've been through and what it's done for us, and maybe clear the air on like what it's actually like being in a twin flame relationship. But yeah, just don't look for your twin flame. Bottom line. I know we've gone on a tangent. Cool. Yeah. No, we're going to do this. You're getting roped into it. It's happening. Maybe Venus and Pisces is the time. I don't know. But yeah, don't go looking for your twin flame. If you're supposed to meet in this lifetime, it's going to happen whether you like it or not. We were in other relationships. It was not ideal, not convenient for us to, or at least for me, to be attracted to him. But it brought us on a crazy journey and led me to where I am now, and same with him. So that's the honest truth. I'm glad that you guys appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with the moon. Okay, the moon is still in Gemini. I moved into Gemini last night, I think about 8 p.m., 7 or 8 p.m. And we're in the waxing crescent phase of the moon right now, pulling away from that new moon. We set our intentions. The waxing crescent phase is the time to plan and prepare, to get all our affairs in order before the first quarter moon this Saturday. And the first quarter moon is when we are asked to start taking action on those intentions. So with the moon in Gemini, this is really a great time to gather information, okay? To start bringing in new information, learning new things that are going to help you take action on the first quarter moon. Gemini energy loves talking, loves socializing, loves learning new things. So this is really the time to gather that data, gather that information, maybe brainstorm some ideas so you have all the data you need, all the information you need when you are going to be ready to actually take action. And that first quarter moon will be in Cancer, which is kind of a beautiful energy for taking action, allowing us to come from a place of emotion, of nurturing, of security, of safety. So as we're looking ahead to that this weekend, what information can you gather? What data can you gain right now so that you will feel more secure when you do start taking action on that intention? Hopefully that makes sense. The only connection the Gemini moon makes today is a nice supportive angle to Chiron. We've talked a little bit about Chiron in this live stream. That doesn't happen until 9 p.m. So for most of the day, we're probably still going to feel that energy of the Mars-Saturn conjunction. I know, not ideal. Venus in Pisces can harshen or lessen the blow, I should say, a little bit. We can start to open our hearts a little bit more with Venus in Pisces. Definitely welcome. And then when the moon forms a sextile to Chiron tonight, this is at 12 degrees in Gemini and Aries, we are asked to keep pushing forward on our healing journey. Whatever came up during that Sun-Chiron-Mercury conjunction over the weekend, we can now use what we've learned with the moon in Gemini to keep pushing forward on that healing journey. We've passed the conjunction between the moon and Chiron under the new moon. Now we're moving forward. So we might find ourselves still processing what came up for us, maybe what wounding was triggered, inner child realizations we might have had over the weekend or over the past couple days. This transit also brings a really great opportunity, if it does feel like there's some unresolved wounding or unresolved pain, to talk it out or journal it out. Using our words to process emotions, highly, highly favored under the Gemini moon. So, if something is still weighing on you, if you're still feeling triggered about something, if you feel like some pain is unresolved, the Gemini moon and this nice supportive angle to Chiron tonight is a great time to have a conversation about it, either with someone else or just sit down, set aside some time to journal it out, write it all out. Gabby Bernstein has this practice called Rage on the Page. So if you're feeling angry, especially because, yet again, I'm going to bring up the Mars-Saturn conjunction, Rage on the Page is a beautiful practice to just get it all out onto paper, get it out of your body, get it out of your system, expel that energy, and it can be very healing. So be open to conversation, be open to processing, and know that you're supported. There's a lot of support within the planets today, a lot of positive energy despite the conjunction in the background. And also Venus is still forming a trine to Lilith. If you take a look at the chart, we talked about this yesterday as well, but Venus is forming a loose trine. It was this morning. Lilith's at 28 degrees. So we're pulling away from that now that Venus is in Pisces, but just know our words are going to pack a little bit more of a punch today still. So be kind, be gentle, really lean into the energy of Venus and Pisces, be compassionate, be loving. Our words can be a little bit harsh still today. Love the transparency and would love to hear more. I am an open book, you guys, but I have learned from my very Saturnian partner that being an open book all the time isn't necessarily the healthiest quality. So we planted the seed. There's clearly desire for this episode about twin flames. It's going to happen at some point. Just have to make sure it's the right time and that we are both on board and both open to the conversation, but it will happen. I know it will. Ooh, love that term. I would always be hard on myself for you never journal anything positive. But yeah, especially as someone with a lot of Virgo energy, like words can be a really helpful way of processing things. And journaling can be a really helpful way of processing things without projecting them onto someone else. So that's such a healthy outlet. And definitely don't be hard on yourself for journaling negative things out. And if it does feel like, okay, I've been too negative and you're like looking for something at the end of it to kind of wrap it up in a nice bow or make you feel like it was like more productive, maybe end with 3 things that you're grateful for. Like after you get it all out, just come back to a loving place with 3 things you're grateful for, or even 1 positive thing, 1 thing you like about yourself, 1 thing you're grateful for, 1 affirmation. Just if you're feeling like, okay, that was a lot of negativity, that can be kind of a nice way to seal it. Just a little idea. Take it if it resonates. Okay, so that's everything happening today. We talked a lot about Venus and Pisces and the Gemini moon helping us process things. But again, if you're still feeling the heaviness, the weight of the Mars-Saturn conjunction, it's okay. It's okay. The Venus in Pisces energy will definitely kick in by the end of the week. So now let's go ahead and pull a card. I'm going to pull from the Starseed Oracle. Feels very Venus in Pisces. And we'll see what else needs to come through for us today. As always, this is your time to ask questions. Let me know how you are feeling under this current energy. If you have any more thoughts about Venus in Pisces. If you're feeling like you're off to never ever land, or if you are still very much here in your current reality. I'm really excited. Like, when's Peter Pan going to come to my window and take me to Neverland for this Venus in Pisces? Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Okay. What do we need to know today? What needs to come through for us today? Lost lands is what just came up as I'm talking about Neverland. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Lost lands. Okay, let's hear what it has to say. Okay. The world is far more ancient than our documented history suggests. As souls, many of us have experienced ancient eras on this planet that were much more advanced than ours today. As we begin to remember these times, the rememberings and gifts can come flooding back. At this stage in Earth's timeline, we need the wisdom of the ancients to survive as a species. You are being called to connect with the lost wisdom of your own soul. If you feel guided to make a change in your life, to step into a new career path, birth a new creation, or bring an idea to life, but feel unprepared, this card is calling you to consider that you've done this before. Perhaps your soul has wisdom beyond what your lifespan can imagine. Perhaps the intuitive hits and ideas you've been receiving are divinely guided. Perhaps you've been preparing for this time. Some think that lost lands exist in the past. Others believe they exist today in a different dimension. I believe these ancient lands also exist in the souls of those who experienced them. If this card comes to you, perhaps the wisdom of lost lands such as Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon exist within you. And through surrendering to the intelligence of your soul, we can unlock the seeds of the ancient lands so we can all learn from our mistakes and usher in a new age. Ooh, wow, I love this card. Wow, wow, wow. This is also reminding me, we talked a lot about the potential for relationships during Venus and Pisces, but Venus and Pisces, I feel like this description of remembering, of coming back to values and the wisdom that's innately within us from past lives, Pisces energy carries some of that wisdom from our past lives. So if you are somebody who, Venus energy, we talk about attraction, the law of attraction. If you're trying to call something in right now, if you're trying to attract someone, whether that's a partner, whether that's an opportunity, whether that's something physical, whether that's money, remember that you have the wisdom within you to do so. You've done so in past lives. You've been in relationship in past lives. You've been abundant in past lives. Know that you have that innate wisdom within you. Venus and Pisces can remind us of those inherent values that we were born with or that we learned in past lives, that inherent wisdom that narrates our values. So, and this could be a beautiful time too for like a past life regression, or maybe not even a past life regression, but like a meditation to take you maybe to one of these places if they call to you, Lemuria, Atlantis, Avalon, or to another realm. Like that could be something, like that could be a really interesting way to get lost in a fantasy for a little bit, to allow your mind to go to another realm, another place, whatever that looks like for you. But I love that we were talking all about that Neverland magic carpet analogy, and this is the card we pulled, the Lost Lands card. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's episode of Transits Today. We have another episode coming up this afternoon of The Spiritual Journalist at 1:11 p.m. So in just about 2 hours, we're talking with Cassandra Vogley. She's a human design expert, so we're talking all about human design. And I know a lot of people, when they first look into human design, it feels very overwhelming. I'm still in that phase. I used to, a lot of people feel that way about astrology too, and I totally get it. The first time you look at your chart, you're like, what the heck does this mean? that's where I'm at with human design. So I'm really excited to bring in an expert to introduce me to human design, to introduce you to human design, and help us make it a little bit more approachable, a little bit more understandable. Also talk about, the value of it, what it's done for her life. I think it's going to be a really fun conversation, and I'm really excited for you to meet her. She has a beautiful energy. Maribel, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of our community. And yes, that will be at 1:11. If you can make it live, bring your questions for Cass. She is a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure she would love to answer them. And if you can't make it at 1:11, the video will be live on YouTube forever, and we'll also publish it as a podcast later today. So that's what we have on the schedule. We'll be back tomorrow I believe it's all about the moon in Gemini tomorrow, but the moon is making a lot of connections. So we'll still have plenty to talk about tomorrow. And yeah, lots of fun stuff ahead. Join me tomorrow morning to chat about the energy. I hope to see you at 1:11 this afternoon, but whenever I see you next, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for other people today. I love you. I'm so grateful you're here, and I hope to see you whenever you can make it next. Until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.